Okay, remember that immature people are changing the sound of my voice, and they also change the pitches. They're very jealous of me because they know Nigerian masculinity goes beyond other races, and that the Royal African Falcon Martial Art Order is of Igbo descent, Nigerian descent. The reason why I say it this way is because they put extras on the harassment. They shouldn't be harassing me in the first place, and they put extras on it. And we can tell by the UFC match that's going to take place in the White House that Americans, in their push for white supremacy, that's assisted by controlled opposition people on the left, and it's first and foremost coming from the elite and the governing class. Okay, we can see that part of their push has to do with conceptions of masculinity and martial arts, conceptions of warfare, what people think is superior, what have you. That's why Trump, who is very much a white supremacist, insisted on having his UFC match, a very controversial UFC match, at the White House. Now, people in the military, people in various militias and various redneck groups, at times like this, many of them like to say stupid things like, "Hey, he made it seem like Trump is going to fight in the match himself." Okay, and and they'll say it like a wise ass, okay? Well, I'm the top martial artist ever possible. I'm being sabotaged for being a man, not some groupie who only fights if they have the upper hand, not some winning team, quote unquote winning team bitch, but somebody who actually stands firm as a man for what's right. So there's nothing some sarcastic worm in the military or anywhere else could say to me without looking like a complete bitch. Like, who are you to insult me? Now shut the fuck up is what I would say. Okay. So we see a picture of me on the screen that they edited to some degree. And I'm flexing in a way that's confusing. And it was after working out in a certain way that made it so my muscles were bigger than they usually are, were formed in a certain way, what have you. And it's not a coincidence that they sabotaged other pictures of mine more than they sabotaged that picture, because they're trying to make the military look better, right? It's called, quote unquote, bigging up, right? Bigging up the military. And people like that, bodybuilders, Nordic people shaped like that, Italian, maybe Irish, like various types of people who are shaped that way, right? And then there's kind of token minorities shaped that way, construction workers, firemen, police, what have you. Now, I don't perceive those types of people to be the main people doing it, but they're involved and they're trying to take a share. When it comes to that body type, the tall, skinny body type, when it comes to the Jewish body types, they're like on a pirate ship trying to rape and kill and rob everything. And some people take the main share, some people take a little less than that, some people take a little less than that, what have you. That's what's going on. But the main reason I put that picture on the screen was to show you that you can tell that I have a very kind of ferocious and very vicious and intense way about me. If you look carefully, you can see the nuances between my body shape in that picture and the military's, right? I'm much more built for hand-to-hand combat, lateral movements, lightning fast movements, what have you. And keep in mind that if you look at my exact body type, it is more like, it's like Michael Jordan's, but it's a little thinner than that and more martial art friendly. You might say it's a mix between Michael Jordan's and Bruce Lee's. Okay, but I also have the ability to get really, really strong when I want to. And it has various applications in combat and striking, what have you. So you can tell that I chose the female next to it because it seemed like if I was actually shaped that way and that's all there was to it, that female would be a pretty good fit for me, right? In terms of, I'm just gonna go ahead and say it, in terms of kind of sexual behavior. And so you see, her breasts, her shape, what have you. So there's different strokes for different folks. When people consider who's well suited for who, quite often body shape factors in. Okay, so when you see some kind of Jewish nerd trying to date some supermodel or something, they often look very stupid trying to do that. And they've been trying to play that off. Same with, some kind of cowardly, kind of skinny beanpole shaped, arrogant European elitist. Okay, they also look dumb trying to date some super hot chick because those chicks were set apart by nature for real men, people who are, top martial artists, for example, people who are in the divine order, people who are shaped a certain way. Now, the reason why I'm really emphasizing this has to do with all the racial hate that they've directed at me over the years, especially recently. And I told you people, I said, if you keep running your mouths, God Almighty is going to witness me saying this, and it's going to curse you and your offspring more. I advised them, I told them, I said it in a very serious way, I said it in a diplomatic way, I've said it in many ways. They decided they hated their families and their country and their military so much that not only they're persecuting me and caused me to say this, but then they suppress the videos and they're not man enough to admit what they've done and to admit that this is what I've said and so on and so forth. Because they're not men. They're some kind of wise ass, some kind of Dixie hick, some kind of nerd, some kind of silly, arrogant, spoiled brat, some kind of privileged fraternity Freemason worm. They're not truly men. And so I put them in their fucking place.